welcome to my Flosstube. I'm Allie Z, and this is a channel about cross-stitch. I have been gone for over a month, so I'm a little nervous about filming today. I am sort of out of the groove of things. Also, I'm home alone, and so my dog is very insistent that I should be talking to her and not to you all, and petting her and not you all, but you know. Hopefully she'll survive without my pets for an hour or so. We'll see. That's questionable. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming back. I was super busy for the month of October. I was traveling a bunch and managed to get in some good stitching, but have just been so busy. The second half of October, I went on a really amazing family vacation. I spent a week with my bonus mom in Florida, and then we spent a week at Disney World with my siblings and their kids. My nieces and nephew are 4 and 7, and it was amazing. It was such a fun trip. I'm like one of those crazy Disney adults, and I've been dying to take my nieces and nephew, and 4 and 7, it's like they're the perfect ages, and we just had a really amazing time. We went for a week. We stayed at Copper Creek, which is one of the Disney Vacation Club resorts that's at Wilderness Lodge. So we stayed right by the Magic Kingdom, and the hotel was beautiful. The pool we just had an amazing time. I had an amazing time. And actually it's funny because I'm actually going back to Disney World in February, for the Festival of the Arts. But yeah, this trip was really like, you know, the trip of a lifetime kind of trip. Like it was just so amazing to do it with my nieces and nephew, and to like share everything with them and see their excitement and their joy. And like, it was really fun to share it with my siblings. It was really nice. We had a really amazing time, but it meant that my October was very busy. And in the very beginning of my October, the first weekend of October actually was the Queen City Stitch Retreat. And this is actually what this installment of my Flosstube is going to be about. So I have so much to talk to you guys about because I haven't been here for over a month. So I'm splitting up my Flosstube into 2 parts. So the first part, which is this, is going to be a recap of the Queen City Stitch Retreat. I'm going to show my haul from that. I'm going to show the stuff that I got. I'm going to talk about the retreat. And then the second half is going to be what I've been stitching on since then, what I've been working on in general haul, stuff like that. So buckle up, buttercup. I feel like I say that a lot. Or at least I've said it at least twice on my Flosstube, but get ready. A lot of people have done Queen City recaps already, but I wanted to come on and share like my experience and the stuff that I got as well, and I also have some pretty unique special things to share that hopefully folks will be excited to see, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, I apologize in advance. There will probably be a lot of like crinkling and package opening and things like that. I just could not quite get everything all set up the way I would have liked so that it didn't make those sounds, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Yeah, so just general info. So the Queen City Stitch Retreat was hosted by my friends Amy, who is Fiber Arts Amy on YouTube, and Maggie, who is Kitschy Whips on YouTube and Instagram. Both of them are also on Instagram. And they had a crazy harebrained idea to put together a retreat, and then they had a crazy harebrained idea to ask Nora Corbett if she wanted to come to the retreat, and she said yes. So they were like, oh shit, now we gotta actually do a retreat, and they did. So that retreat, which was over a year and a half in the making, was the first weekend of October. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina at a beautiful hotel. I will say, this retreat was the first retreat that I was involved in the planning of, certainly. Not that I really did any of the planning, but I did have the honor of like helping Maggie and Amy out a little bit. I got there on Wednesday before the retreat started and helped them set up and stuff. And just seeing how much work goes into these, I mean, it's not surprising, but the amount of work that goes into them, but also the amount of love that like stitchers have for each other, the amount of love that people had for Amy and Maggie at the retreat, like that was really awesome. It was really cool. So the retreat was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it was at a hotel. I think it was a Courtyard Marriott in Charlotte, and the ballroom. So I feel really fortunate because the ballroom was gorgeous. It was huge. There were all these big windows. I don't know that I've ever been in a hotel ballroom with windows before, and it was really nice to have that daylight for stitching. It was really beautiful. If I can find a photo of the room, I'll insert one. I don't know that I thought to take one, but it was just like a really lovely space. And of course, the guest of honor at the retreat was Nora Corbett, who is an amazing artist and cross-stitch designer. This actually is the 30-year anniversary of her design imprint, Mirabilia, which is primarily fancy ladies. So she's been designing now. Sexy, I know. She's been designing now for 30 years. Which is an amazing achievement. And she's just given us so many beautiful, beautiful patterns. And in addition to the Nora Corbett, I mean, oh my God, I'm all tongue twisted because I haven't done this in so long. In addition to the Mirabilia patterns, which are much larger, she also has a line of smaller patterns called Nora Corbett that are more manageably sized, smaller, and a little bit less complicated. If you look, my previous posted video is a Mira and Nora parade where I show different patterns and I talk a little bit about the differences and I show all the ones that I had kitted up and talked through like what I was going to bring to the retreat. Anyway, the retreat was amazing. So one of my favorite things about going to retreats is both getting to meet other stitchers and also getting to see their work. And because this retreat was Nora Corbett focused, the brag table was entirely Mirabilia's and Nora's. So anything designed by Nora could go on the brag table. This brag table, first of all, it was the length of the entire wall of the ballroom. We had to keep adding tables because so many people brought like so much work and so much beautiful work. Oh my God, you guys, this brag table was incredible. It was also cool because people had brought other stuff. So for example, Alma, the tattooed reading owl, who is awesome, she finished a chatelaine recently and she actually brought her finished chatelaine. So although she didn't put it on the brag table, she like showed it to people and let us look at it and let us like get up close to it, which was absolutely, I mean, if you've never seen a chatelaine in person, even seeing them online, like they're incredible, but seeing it stitched, she stitched, I think it's called the Paris mandala. And I have a huge soft spot for Paris. I love Paris. My mom's best friend, who I consider family, actually is French and lives outside of Paris. And I took years of French and so getting to see the Paris mandala that Alma did was, it is incredible. The workmanship is unreal. So the brag table is amazing. There are stitchers who have been stitching Mira for 30 years. There are stitchers who had just started stitching. There was someone who had started and finished their first Nora Corbett pattern at the retreat, which is amazing. It's incredible. It was incredible. So the brag table was amazing. Nora very generously spent quite a lot of time actually at the retreat. So in addition to, as part of the retreat, Nora did a meet and greet where you could go and get a couple of things signed and chat with her. And she also did a Q&A session, which is posted online. I will put the links below in the description to this video if you want to watch the Q&A. It's absolutely fascinating. But in addition to the Q&A and the meet and greet and sort of the official Nora thing, she also came and walked around the room to see what people were stitching. She brought her sketchbook, and in her sketchbook was all of these designs that were the basis for some of her stitched patterns, which is incredible. And she, you know, would like get coffee. One morning I was like getting coffee and she and I were just chatting when we were getting coffee, which was wonderful. It's so funny because, I mean, I think of her as like an amazing artist and she's famous and like, oh my God, it's Nora Corbett. And it is. I mean, she's incredible, right? But she, I don't think, always thinks of herself that way. And so, you know, I think it's funny to see her because she, of course, is a regular person, just like everyone is a regular person. But, you know, as someone who so deeply admires and loves her work, it's crazy to get the opportunity to just like chat with her over coffee. And that was just, it was just like a wonderful, really wonderful opportunity. And it was so nice to be able to share our love as a stitching community with her. And our love for her designs and our love for her art. Now I had not seen a ton of her original artwork. I'd seen some online and, you know, I followed her on Instagram and stuff, but holy moly, her artwork is beautiful. And like seeing the sketches, I mean, that's part of why I love stitching Mirabilia and Nora, because you really feel like you're stitching a work of art. And seeing those sketches was like incredible. Truly amazing. Like really just mind-blowing. And as someone who loves art and as someone who wishes that I were that kind of artist, it was just, yeah, it was, I feel bad because I want to be telling you things and I'm just like, oh my God, it was so great. But it really was. Like, it was just so great. And Nora was like so sweet and gracious and so humble, and it was just wonderful to hear about her creative process and to hear about, you know, sort of how she goes from idea to design, and that was really cool. So it was super neat. She even sort of gave us little hints about like what might be coming. You know, Delphine, who is the newest Mira, had not been released yet, and she told us that she was, you know, the next release was going to be like a butterfly fairy where you could stitch the butterfly separately, and, you know, just hearing that was so exciting. And then seeing it come out like that month, I think, yeah, seeing it come out like, you know, a couple of weeks later was amazing. It was just really cool. It was really cool. And, you know, I also just really appreciated getting to meet so many wonderful people. I mean, everyone who was at the retreat was just like so sweet, so awesome, so cool. There are a couple of people I wanted to shout out in particular. There's a group of Mira stitchers who came to the retreat who I didn't know and had not really interacted with a ton online, although I've seen them in a lot of like the Mira Facebook groups. And it was just like, it was so cool to get to meet them, and also to get to know them. Julie and Sharon, who are both like huge Mira stitchers. Sharon, I think, was pretty well owned, maybe, Stitcher's Paradise in Las Vegas. They both live in Vegas, and they are just like, I want to be Julie and Sharon when I grow up. I'll put in a picture here of me and Julie. I don't, quite a bummer, I don't know that I got a photo of me and Sharon, but I've already decided that I'm like gonna go out and visit them because they're awesome. And, you know, and again, like they've been stitching Miras on beautiful, colorful, amazing fabrics for years. And it was so nice because I just felt such a kinship with them, you know? And that's like one of the amazing things I think about going to retreats. Like you meet people and you're like, oh my God, like we're obviously best friends who just, you know, live far away from each other. But like, yes, you and me, like we're vibing. Like it's really awesome. And Julie and Sharon, like I said, are incredibly talented stitchers. They both love vibrant color, just like me. And seeing the way that they've both done, Sharon especially has done a lot of like color converting on some of the Mira patterns. And they've both just done really beautiful Mira finishes on very bold fabrics. Hopefully I'll insert some of the brag table stuff at the end. And I'll try to point out in the video, like which are their pieces, so you can sort of see, like, I mean, you can tell, right? Like they have these stacks of miras and they're on these beautiful colored fabrics. So like that was really amazing. You know, I met Sherry and Tiffany, who were both really awesome. And like these are ladies who have been stitching miras for years, have gone to other mira retreats, but this was my first chance getting to know them. And just getting to like share our love of this beautiful thing was really, really awesome. So let's see what else. So another cool thing about the retreat, so I ended up collecting money for the raffle, which was really cool. So Maggie and Amy worked really hard to make this retreat really welcoming. And that, I think that was really the overall vibe, was like, it was just a really like welcoming, positive space. And so something that I really loved was they did 2 separate giveaway systems. So they did giveaways. So everyone who attended the retreat won something. They had a bunch of patterns, they had fabric, they had project bags, they had, you know, silks, they had just all these items. And I think it was like over 150 items that they just gave away. They were basically door prizes, and they just like picked people's names throughout the weekend and gave them away. And then in addition to that, they also did a raffle where you got X number of free tickets, but then you also could buy more tickets, and the money for the raffle went 100% towards the Charlotte Animal Shelter. And you guys, honestly, I was speechless. The generosity and the way that people like showed up for these raffle tickets was really amazing. We ended up raising over 5,000. I think we ended up coming to like $5,211. We raised over $5,000 for the animal shelter, which is incredible. And of course, I mean, the raffle prizes were amazing. Lady of the Flag, which is like one of the most sought after out of print Mira patterns. There was a Lady of the Flag and complete embellishment pack for her was in the raffle. The complete 12 days of Christmas, all of the winter couriers, which are the reindeer and the sleigh. There was like a Christmas bundle with Santa's magic in it. There were a ton of out of print patterns. It was just like a really amazing raffle as well. And we raised $5,000 for the animal shelter. Like, that's awesome. And there was also just so much incredible generosity. So Melanie Rowe, who is a really wonderful member of the stitching community, member of the Mira community, she has actually stitched a lot of models for Nora, which is amazing. You know, she was talking and, you know, I was chatting with her, and I mentioned that there was an out of print pattern that I, you know, really wanted to stitch. And she was like, I'll send it to you. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, I won't charge you for it. I'll just send it to you. And I said, oh my God, like, that's so generous. Thank you so much. And I actually have it here. So, you know, I came home from the retreat, and like a week later, what showed up in my mailbox but Damask Roses, which is Mira's first. This is 01. This is the first Mirabilia pattern. And Nora has shared that this pattern really meant a lot to her. And that, you know, it's sort of a sad pattern. You know, she had shared previously that she, you know, she created this pattern after a miscarriage. And you can kind of see, it's almost as if she's holding a bundle of roses, but it's almost as if her hands are cradled like she's holding a baby. And, you know, the longing and the grief in this pattern really speak to me. You know, I personally have not experienced a miscarriage, but I have experienced grief and loss in my life. And I don't know, this pattern is really moving to me, and to have Melanie send this to me really meant a lot, and I cannot wait to stitch it. So thank you, Melanie. And that's just one example. Like, I feel like this whole floss tube is just going to be like And then this person gave me this amazing thing. And then this person gave me this amazing thing. And then this person gave me this amazing thing. Because truly, like, I don't know. It was a love fest. It was a love fest. And it was truly like so much fun. And I did get I got a little bit of stitching done, just like a smidge. I did stitch a little bit, not much, but I did. But the retreat really wasn't about the stitching, you know, it was about like meeting people and sharing our love for this thing. And like, oh, it was so much fun. It was just so fun. It was so fun. So, oh, another person who I met who, like, you know, I can't even think about her without having like a huge smile on my face. So Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. I've been watching her. She's like one of the first Flosstubers that I started watching, and I just love her. And she was there. She actually lives in the Charlotte area, and I think it was her daughters or her granddaughters came and dropped her off. And I like, I'm like a little bit, I like ran up to her and I was like, oh my God, you're here. And her family was like, see, you're famous. And she was like, no. And I was like, oh my God, no, she's totally famous. Like, don't listen to her. She's like a very big deal. Because she is a very big deal. And it was just, she's just so joyful and hilarious. And like, honestly, meeting Denise was one of the highlights of my retreat. Like, it was so great to meet her. She just makes me feel so good whenever I talk to her. She's so funny and warm and real. It was wonderful. So, you know, getting to meet Denise was amazing. If you do not watch Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, her floss tubes are great. They're funny. She's really funny. She stitches like a wide variety of stuff. She is also a huge Disney fan, so you know. Got that going on. But she's awesome. Definitely go watch her Flosstubes. But getting the opportunity to chat with her about Disney, about stitching, was just really, really wonderful. And, you know, it's so hard because on one hand, I'm like crossing my fingers that everybody comes back next year. And on the other hand, I like want other people to come so I can meet them too. We need like, I don't know, we need like a reunion weekend and a retreat weekend or something. I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, meeting Denise was really, really wonderful. And that was hanging out with my friends was really like the thing about this weekend. Hi everyone. I was editing my Flosstube video and realized that I left some people out, when I was talking about like the people that I met at the retreat. And one of them was Rachel, or Licking Floss on Flosstube. She's amazing. I'm going to insert a photo here. She actually finished her Cathedral Woods Goddess at the retreat. Her Flosstube is fantastic. And she actually had said something on her Flosstube about like this being her first retreat and she was nervous. And that's how we started chatting. And now, you know, I got to meet her at the retreat, which was awesome. But now we're like stitchy friends and we like instant message and stuff. It's awesome. It's so funny because I feel like I'm always so excited to meet other Flosstubers. And then people will say that they're like excited to meet me. And I'm like, me? But yeah, it was really awesome to get to meet Rachel. I really loved getting to see, she's also a beautiful stitcher, puts stuff on interesting fabric. And I was really excited for her that she got to finish her Cathedral Woods Goddess at the retreat. Meanwhile, I swore I was going to be so organized and like have sections in this video, and that's just not happening. So hopefully you wanted a very chatty, like hangouty kind of video, because that's where we're at. All right, so let's start with, so let me show you the stitching. There's not a ton of it, but there is some stitching that I need to show you. So how about I'll do the stitching and then I will show haul, and that will include like cool stuff that people gave me, freebie table, stuff I bought, all of that. All right, so let's start with the stitching, like I said. So before this retreat, and I had talked about this, I like really pushed to get my queen bee done. And by done, I mean to get all of this cross stitching and metallics completed in the actual queen before the retreat. Oh, and you will see a cool thing on my queen bee as well. So let me show you where she's at. So everything is so wrinkly. I was like, if I wait to iron, I will never film this video. So everything is wrinkly from being in bags and everything. So sorry. So here is my queen bee. The queen is complete. With the exception of beads. So the stitching on the queen is complete. And if you look on the bottom there, you will see a signature. So Nora signed a couple of items for each of us, and I decided that one of the things I really wanted her to sign was this. So you can see I had her put her signature just right there underneath the skirt. And yeah, so my queen, the stitching is complete. Here she is. Oh, and this was another cool thing. So Ashley, I'm trying to remember, I think it's Little Redheaded Stitcher. I will put everyone's Instagrams in the description box below. But she started Queen Bee at the retreat. And she had chosen to go in a slightly different direction. So she actually went up and is stitching like the honeycomb structure above her that I haven't even started. And that's been really cool because I've actually gotten to see what that's going to look like as she stitches on it. So that's been neat, but look how gorgeous she is. And she's just going to look even more amazing like when I put the beading in her and the back stitching. Oh, I mean, she is unreal. She's so beautiful. I love her. And actually, one of the sketches that was in Nora's sketchbook was the sketch that she is based on. So, and speaking of, so when I saw that sketch, I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. And I love the Queen of Hearts. And although this is not explicitly a Queen of Hearts pattern, it just has the cage skirt, the colors, it just has a very like Queen of Hearts vibe to me. And like her sort of like serious face, the whole thing, feels very Queen of Hearts to me. And I really love to buy original art. And so I actually contacted Nora and asked her if she would be willing to sell me the original artwork, the original sketchwork for this piece. And she agreed to do so. Very cool and excitingly, I'm going to show you the original artwork. So yeah, everything is all like still in packaging because I'm afraid to take it out because it's like beautiful and precious to me. But this is the original sketch for the Queen Bee. Look at that, you guys. And you can see the gold work in her dress. Also really interesting, like I didn't realize this from the stitched pattern, but it's an actual, so if you look in the sketch, it's like an actual cage skirt and then the underskirt is like much darker underneath, which is really cool. I almost want to restitch her and like make the underskirt more defined so you can see that it's like an underskirt and like part of the cage. I don't know. It's so cool. And you can also see, so in the background, you can see like the pencil sketching for like the top section, and how all that, you know, she started like sketching that in. It's so cool. And actually, so part of why I have not stitched more on my Queen Bee is because I was having an internal debate over whether I wanted to stitch her as charted or I wanted to like basically redesign it and backstitch in the pencil marks in here. So instead of stitching what's charted and stitching the finished piece, backstitching like this design into, so you can see it's actually done on, let's see if you can see it in the camera. Yeah, so it's actually done on graph paper. So I figured I could potentially like basically stitch in this sketch instead of stitching the completed piece. I'm still sort of debating, but the more I look at it, the more I want to stitch the completed piece as it's designed to sort of show like concept to execution. But I will treasure this forever. I can't believe that I got the opportunity to purchase it. I really am just like speechless about how amazing it is. You know, I will be framing them side by side. I'm hoping to double frame them in, you know, one frame with a double mat. We'll see. I gotta finish the queen bee first, but so that is one of the amazing pieces that Nora brought with her that I actually ended up contacting her about and purchasing, which was again like an incredible opportunity. Nora, I don't know if you'd ever watch this, but thank you so much again for allowing me to purchase that from you and own your artwork. It's truly an honor. So that was really wonderful. So that was one thing. So you know, my queen bee now, I got to keep moving on her. Now I guess it depends on what you think of as the fun part. Now I have to do a lot of the fill-in on those columns, just to show again, like, you know, where these columns are here is all like, it's just solid stitching with a water lily. There's that big honeycomb structure above her. And then of course, like all the beading. I'm excited to do it. I just have to get back to it. And of course, now after the retreat, I bought approximately 17 million more Nora patterns. I think I did the math the other day. I put everything I bought after the retreat into like my Notion app and counted, and I think I now own 57 Mira and Nora patterns. And that's not counting the 2 that I've already stitched. So I guess 59 with those 2. So yeah, I'm going to be stitching for the next 100 years. I am very much hoping they find, you know, the font of eternal life at some point soon, because otherwise I'm in big trouble. Yeah. So then the second piece that I worked on at the retreat was Junebug. I just can't get momentum going on her. Like, she's so fun to work on. And actually I worked on her while I was traveling, but I'm still just in this like little bottom section of the skirt. I gotta get moving on her. Especially because I love this background color. Maggie and I are going to be twinsies. For those of you who have not watched my previous videos, Maggie Kitschy Whips very generously gave me the second half of her fabric that she stitched Junebug on. So once I finish her, we will be twinsies because I have the second half of her fabric. I almost feel like I should name her Maggie June or something. But yeah, I gotta actually stitch her so I could put her up. But she's getting there. And then I had 3 starts at the retreat. So I decided that I wanted to start some Miras while I was there. I started 1 each day. So I have 3 starts. So my first start was actually a start with Melissa of Sheba Design. So Melissa is stitching all of her maybe not all of them, but most of her Miras and Noras in miniature. She does not have a lot of wall space, and she decided that she wanted to stitch her pixies and Miras on 40 count. Which I was like, oh my God, that's insane. But also I want to try it. We talked about this back in August when we were at the Grace Notes retreat, and we decided that at the Mira retreat, we were going to start petite pixies together. And actually there were quite a few people who put petite pixies and like little mini Miras on the brag table. There was one, someone stitched In My Lady's Garden, I think it's called. But someone stitched that like 28 count over 1. And people had quite a few smaller Miras and Noras there, and it really piqued a lot of people's interest, I think, in stitching these smaller. So I decided that I wanted to try stitching a pixie smaller. So the pixie that I chose is Autumn Blaze. This is Autumn Blaze. She's sort of like a cross between a pixie and a mermaid, I think. Her tail looks sort of mermaidy. Anyway, and I am stitching her 1/1 on 28 count, and Melissa and I started our petite pixies together. She is stitching, I think it's Bluebell. She just started. Is it Bluebell? I don't remember what she started. I'll have to look. But we took a little photo together of our starts. I'll insert that here too. And I just got a small start on it. Oh, Melissa also, again, with the generosity, Melissa also very generously picked out metallics for me. So instead of doing beading on 28/1, you can replace the beads with metallics. So that way you still get the shine, but you don't have to squash the beads on there with those tiny stitches. And so Melissa very generously brought me the Petite Treasure braid that corresponds to the colors that I will need for my beads. So let me see if I can find those in my project bag here. Like I said, I did not prepare well. I did not take things out. Let me see. Ah, yeah, here they are. So she brought me 3 Petite Treasure braids. And again, these correspond to the colors of the beads that I would have used if I were using the beading. But instead, because I'm doing the 28/1, I am just using the Petite Treasure braid. So hang on, I gotta pick up the stuff that I dropped here. I'm dropping everything and dumping things out by accident. Okay. Let me zip this up. Close this up. Okay. So here is my start on Autumn. It's a very small start. I got very small starts on basically everything because I did not have a lot of time to stitch. I was too busy yakking and chatting and laughing and selling raffle tickets. But here is my little tiny start. I'm gonna scoot closer to the screen here so you could see my little tiny start. So cute. So petite. Look at those little stitchies. Little stitchies. She's gonna be beautiful. I think she's gonna be like 4 inches tall when I'm done. Anyway, I'm excited to get back to her. I love this fabric. This fabric is Crosswing Collection. I believe it's called Marl Lake Horizontal. So Crosswing Collection hand paints all of their fabrics. They're not dyed, they're painted. And I just loved the vibe and the colors of this. I think the pinks and oranges of this pixie will look beautiful. And I'm excited to keep stitching on her. I'm hoping Melissa will come to the retreat next year. Maybe I'll be done by next year and I could bring this with me. That would be kind of cool. That is a very ambitious goal, but maybe. We'll see. I don't know. So that's Autumn Blaze. Once again, that's what she's going to look like when she's done. I started, I think, in here. So like right in the middle. I am very much a top left starter, but when I start Miras, I tend to center start. A, because it's hard to find the top left because they're not like box shaped, and B, because I'm not always great about leaving a ton of space around my stitching, so I start in the middle to make sure I'm going to have enough space. That has worked so far. I am waiting for it to come back and bite me in the butt, but it hasn't yet. All right, so the second piece that I started while I was there is also one of my, you know, I say one of my all-time favorites. Again, I now have 60 patterns of hers. They can't all be my favorites, but I do love them all. So this is Fairy Moon. This is Mirabilia number 2. So this is the second pattern that Nora ever designed for Mirabilia. It was released in 1993. It's literally so old that the cover photo is like an actual photo, like printed on, like developed on a photo, like at CVS or something, which is wild. Yeah, it's why I don't even know when this was taken, but here it is. And I have been wanting to start her for a while. I had like a lot of debate. I think I showed her in my Mira Nora parade. I didn't know what fabric I was going to do. Anyway, I ended up choosing the gray stuff by Grace Notes Fabric. I'm stitching her on, I think it's a 28 count. Might be a 32. Hold on, let me find the tag. There it is, 32. So I'm stitching her on a 32 count fat half of Lugana. Now, I will say this, Fairy Moon, some slash, I would say even most of the Noras that I have do not need a fat half. Fairy Moon does because of the dimensions, because of where this moon is placed. It's just like a little bit too wide to put on a fat quarter. So I think because of where this moon is, I think the total, it's like 15 inches wide or a little over 15 inches wide, which on a 17 to 18 inch fat quarter wide, it's just not enough space, I think. So I do have her on a fat quarter. I did only get a little start, so I put a little T in the top left so I know. Once again, sorry for not ironing, but here is my big piece of fabric, and there in the middle you can see my tiny little start. I literally just started. She has a purple shawl. I just put in like the first like 20 stitches just to get her shawl started in the middle. Once again, middle start, like I said. You know, to me, Fairy Moon has a very like calm, contemplative, sort of like comforting vibe, and that is not the vibe that was at the retreat. The retreat was super fun, but calm and contemplative was not really the vibe, and I did really want to start her at the retreat, but I just wasn't, it was not matching the mood. And so I ended up just doing, you know, a few stitches on her, enough so that I knew like what direction I was going in, and so I could say I had a start and put her away. But I'm excited to have her started. As many people say, if you don't start, you can't work on it, you can't finish. So I'm really looking forward to working on her. I think, again, she has a very like calm, meditative vibe to me, and that's sort of the attitude that I want to cultivate when I'm working on her. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. And then my third start is also one that I've been excited about for a while. I debated on the fabric. I'm still not 100% sure about my fabric choice. I'm worried the fabric choice is going to kind of compete for attention with the pattern, but I do think it will look really pretty. And this is Princess Eliana. So I'll insert a photo here. Do I have the photo? No, I do not. So I will, oh, yes I do. Here it is. Princess Eliana. She is beautiful. She is colorful. She is big. She uses all 35 of like the new number 1 through 35 DMC colors. She is amazing. And actually, oh, this was cool. So in her sketchbook at the retreat, Nora had the sketch for Princess Eliana, and she had this huge like rose shape behind her. That was amazing. I like wish it had made it into the finished pattern. It was so cool. This big rose shape. And then she also had like a little bear drawn on the same page. I don't know if the bear was part of it, but oh, the rose was, oh, it was so cool. I'll see if I can find a photo of the sketch. I will insert it here. I think I did take a picture of it. So, but this is Princess Eliana. And I started her on, this is, I believe it's 28 count. It is fabric hand dyed by Amy, who, oh, by the way, little plug, Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, who helped run the retreat. She has always, I think, dabbled in dyeing fabrics, but she recently opened her own fabric dyeing company called Oak Crown Studios. Her fabrics are incredible. I picked some up. after the retreat, and I'm going to show them as part of this because they were from Amy and I ordered them while I was there. And her fabric dyeing is just beautiful. Her sense of colors is really great. She loves to use like multiple colors in the same fabric, which is awesome. Anyway, I actually got this piece from her in a D-stash that she did like before she even had her fabric dyeing company. And I knew it was by her, but I just like love the colors. Anyway, so I started once again in the middle. Let's see, here it is. I left my needle minder on there. But there she is. There's the beginning right there in the middle of Eliana. And you can see the gorgeous fabric. It's like a aqua tealy color with some splashes of periwinkle. And it is opalescent, which this is my first... Is this my first? This might be my first piece on opalescent. It's certainly my first large. I think this is my first piece on opalescent. And if I have another piece on opalescent, it's a really, really small one. I'm excited to try it out. I have not tried stitching on opalescent before. There were a lot of cool mirrors on opalescent at the retreat. I always worried that it would like take away from the stitching, but I actually think it's like fun and it adds something. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope I like it. But this is my little start. I'll be honest, I was nervous about stitching Princess Eliana because she's so many, I mean, she has like 50 something colors of DMC. She's so many colors. No metallics, but a lot of beads. But I am actually really loving it. Like, I want to get back to her. She's like really fun to stitch on, and I love each section of her dress has like different patterns in them, and I think I'm going to love seeing the different patterns emerge. I do want to do a skin conversion on her. Someone in the Facebook group did a skin conversion using the 430s, like 433, 434, 435 on her, and I really liked that. So I think I am going to do that skin conversion, but yeah, there's my start. And that is all of the stitching that I have from that retreat. Because I was too busy like floating around and being sociable and chatting with everyone and looking at people stitching and, you know, but it was worth it, right? Like, I can stitch at home. I can happily stitch at home. I cannot hang out with all my cool stitchy friends at home, sadly. Oh, and so generously. So, one of the really wonderful women that I met there, Sherry, we were talking about project bags actually, and I was saying how I think she had a Whip It Up project bag. That's WIP, Whip It Up project bag. And I was saying like how much I love Whip It Up project bags. If you haven't seen them, they're awesome. They're big, they're quilted, they're very well made. But the woman who makes them doesn't post them all that often. And I was saying that I like really loved the one that I had, but I hadn't been able to get more because I always missed them when they got posted. And lo and behold, Sherry so generously just like takes her stitching out of this one and gives it to me. Guys, she gave me her project bag. And I guess she was going to a retreat in, I think it was Michigan, and she said, oh, like the woman who makes Whip It Up, whose name is Jamie, I don't remember her name. I'll have to look it up. But the woman who makes these bags, she was like, oh, she's going to be there. I'll just buy more bags from her. And I was like, are you kidding me? And look, you guys, it's rainbow. And it's like the Alice in Wonderland Tula Pink fabric that I love. And it's rainbow. And actually someone gave me a rainbow scissor fob at, the retreat, and I put it on, and it's just so beautiful. I love it. And there's the tag, Whip It Up. I love this bag. I like treasure this bag, and I'm keeping Princess Eliana in it because it's so big. It fits a fat half of fabric, and look at all, okay, hold on, I gotta pick these up and show you. So this is all the DMC for her. This is just 1 through 35, right? And then this is all the rest of the DMC. So she's like a lot of DMC. So DMC can go in it fits everything. It fits the DMC. It fits my half yard of fabric. It fits, I like to buy the embellishment packs because then I don't have to like get everything together. It's all just there. So like the embellishment pack I keep in here, my half yard of fabric, my pattern, like it all fits in this bag. I love it. And it even has a handle. Not that I mean, I don't know that I ever like carry my whips separate from other things, but I don't know, I like it. Especially on a big bag like this, it's nice to have a handle because it does make it easier to carry, see? So I'm putting everything away because otherwise this is going to be like carnage after, but let me hide the pattern here and just show you like how much stuff fits in this project bag. Anyway, I love Whip It Up. Go check her out. She sells on Etsy. She does not post super regularly, so if you want one of her bags and you see she has bags up, nab one. They're not cheap. I think they go for around 50 bucks, but they're 100% worth it. I love these bags. Look how big this bag is. Fits everything like easily. And it's so nice too because Sherry gave me this bag, and now every time I go to stitch on Princess Eliana and I see the bag, like I think about Sherry and Tiffany and like all my stitchy friends, which is so awesome. Yeah, I really treasure this. So thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Whip It Up, because I love this bag. And that is all of my stitching. That's it. That's all the stitching that I got done at that retreat, like I said. Woo, okay. So now that I've shown off the stitching that I did, let me show off all of the cool stuff that I got. So we're now in haul/gifts. Again, everyone was so incredibly generous. And one of the cool things about retreats, so this is actually the first retreat where I've ever brought something with me to give out, partially because I was like, oh, I want to advertise my Flosstube. But also, I had lead time leading into it. I figured out something cute to bring. So I like had the time to like make something, but, and by make, I mean just like put together little packets. I didn't actually make anything, although there are people who did. So people bring things and people end up just like giving stuff to other people at retreats. It's really, really sweet. And so I got like a whole bunch of cool things from people. I will say, I apologize in advance. I'm like horrible at keeping track of who I got things from, who gave stuff to me, like who, where I got things. So I apologize in advance for not being able to acknowledge you by name. But just know that if you gave me anything at the retreat, especially one of the items that I'm going to show, but really just anything, like, thank you so much. It makes me feel so good. It makes me think of the retreat when I use it. Like, I love it. So let me pick up, you're going to see my butt, my Disney butt, because I'm wearing my Disney pants. Let me see if I can grab, so here, for example, are some of the things that I got. So, like, Carol, who I actually met at a stitching get-together before the retreat, and originally we were gonna try to sit together and then it didn't happen, but we were sort of sitting near each other. She brought these like cute little garbage cans with like pens and a nail file and some stuff in them, a highlighter, some mascara wands, which, if you don't know, fun fact, if you get mascara wands at a retreat, what they are useful for is if you are frogging and you have those little fuzzies on your project, you can use the mascara wands to like brush away the little fuzzies and help with frogging. Fun fact. So, I got those. People made little scissor fobs. So you can see in here, I got a little scissor fob. I got several of those. Oh, excuse me. Memphis Sarah E made really cute. Let me see if I can find, see, this is the thing. I have it all. I'll show you guys if I can turn this without knocking you over. See, whoop, I have it all sitting on my table here. And I'm like pawing through it as I film. I'm like trying to, where did I thought I put this stuff out and now it's not here. I don't know where it went. Okay, well, anyway, sorry guys. I got some beautiful scissor fobs, really cute, some really cute needle minders, like all sorts of cute stuff. In addition, we got really nice tote bags from the retreat. This is like, you know, the tote that's actually from the retreat with the logo, had some swag in it. I put a lot of swag. This is, at retreats, I always end up putting my swag in the little bag. You know, here are some needle minders that I received. Just like little things that are so sweet. We also, Maggie had a friend who made these little notions pouches. And actually in the notions pouches were the items that we needed to stitch the retreat pattern. So it had like a little needle to put on the retreat pattern, which if you have not seen the retreat pattern yet, I will put up a picture here of what it looks like. You can actually now download it for free on the retreat website, Queen City Stitch Retreat. We got the Krynic and the water lilies that you needed to stitch it. We got the beads for it. We got the beads so that was so sweet. And now we have this handy little notions pouch, which is so cute. And like I said, one of Maggie's friends sewed 150 of these, which, like, what? I wish I was that talented, honestly. I wish I could sew. I wish I could sew. So those were the retreat itself, like such wonderful gifts. Again, the retreat pattern was amazing. Oh, and this was so fun. So at the retreat, Maggie, of course, had a photo booth there, which was so fun. It was really great. And it was a great way to get photos with your table. So here is my table. That's the photos that we took. I really love them. You can see me in the middle being my me self. So that is Maggie, me, Melissa of Sheba Designs, Catherine the Needleberry Stitcher, Ashley Stitch and Shorty, and Amy of Fiber Arts Amy. And actually Catherine the Needleberry Stitcher designed a really fun, like, virtual but not a really fun trivia game, and we played Mirabilia trivia, where we had to like guess the name of the pattern. We did one that was like what, you know, we did one that was like, you know, name a mirror pattern with a man in it. You know, what year was Mirabilia started, and then we did one where she put up a picture and then you had to select the name of the pattern. And it was just like, it was just fun. And, you know, she, like, really made it a good time, actually. Which I'm always sort of skeptical about those games, you know, like, we've all been to those bridal showers where you're like, oh God, not this again. But it was way more, it does not sound like a compliment to say that it was way more fun than I thought it would be, but it actually was really fun. And I think I was talking to Maggie and Catherine and Amy, and I think they're going to try and bring it back next year. So I'm excited about that. So that was my table. And then I also got a photo with, I had the good fortune of getting to spend quite a bit of time with, Alma, the tattooed reading owl. So that's me, Maggie, and Alma, hamming it up in the booth. It was so much fun. I like was so glad to get to meet such cool people. Alma also has an amazingly awesome and very tolerant husband, Josue, who came with her to Charlotte, and hung out and, got to witness the craziness that was all of us. And he actually is also an artist. He made Alma these amazing vans that are like custom painted. He custom painted her vans for retreats that are gorgeous. I'm trying to commission him to make me a pair. I'm trying to convince him that I am cool enough to deserve a pair because they're really beautiful. He can really draw. So like that was really cool. And then let's see, what else did I get? I don't know. I just got so much cool stuff. I got this beautiful project bag. I'm trying to remember who made these, but a very, very generous retreat attendee actually made these project bags and gave them to us as a thank you for like working on and organizing the retreat, which was so incredibly sweet. And there's like a little orc catcher in here. I called Kathy Carol, didn't I? I did. I called Kathy Carol. See, this is what I mean. My memory for these things is terrible. And I know Kathy. That's the sad thing. So the lady I was talking about who I met who brought me that cool trash can, her name is Kathy, not Carol. Anyway. But she also, I'm pretty sure she actually made, I believe, a project bag. Kathy. See? Carol, Kathy. What? Kathy actually made project bags for Maggie and Amy as a thank you for the retreat, which again was so incredibly generous. Oh God, you guys, the coughing is coming. I feel like every time I film, I'm like recovering from being sick or about to get sick. I'm coughing, probably because I just talked for an hour straight, but not the point. Okay. So the bag vendor at the retreat was Melissa, who is a personal friend of mine. I know. Who is a personal friend of mine and also runs Sheba Design. She makes absolutely beautiful project bags. And she did 2 different colorways for the retreat. I ordered this one, which was like the red. She also did a gold colorway, and the fabric actually has like metallic, I guess, paint or metallic paint on it. So this is the project bag. Once again, love the handle. Beautiful bag. She also did, and I bought a couple of these at the retreat. She did notions pouches. She did thread beds. Beautiful, beautiful thread beds. She did, I got a scissor cover, I tried to say scissor cover and scissor sheath at the same time. Scissor cover. I got a grime guard. The one thing I didn't manage to get was she did these little like orts containers. I really wish I had snagged one. They were really pretty. And I just like, this fabric was just perfect. It really was the right vibe. I love this bag. And Melissa so generously actually custom made me a bag for myself. So she asked me before the retreat, like, what animals do you like? What colors do you like? Like, tell me about things you love. And I was like, oh, I love owls. I love dogs. I love giraffes. I love all things rainbow, of course. And then I get to the retreat and she's like, here, I made this bag. And look at this cute bag. So first of all, it's rainbow. I know. Second of all, rainbow owls, you guys. And it's in like the bigger size, so that way I can put a Mira or a Nora in it. Yeah. And it came with a little thread bed. Yeah. I'm very excited. I don't know which Mira Nora I'm going to use it for yet. But you guys, I'm like speechless. Like, this was so generous of her to make this for me. Like, thank you, Melissa. Also, I love her bags. Like, they're really well made. They're like not too stiff. They're not too floppy. Like, they're just nice. They're just really, really nice. The zipper pulls don't fall off, which I appreciate. So I'm excited to put a project in there. And then again, just an example of like the generosity. Oh, and I just found all my scissor fobs and things. But an example of like the generosity. There was an attendee there and we were talking about project bags, and I was saying how I like project bags that are like a little bit stiffer. And she was saying that she doesn't like them. And she was like, here, I have this bag. I don't really use it because it's too stiff for me. Do you want it? And I was like, are you kidding me? It's Halloween sloths. Yes, of course I want it. And she was like, here, just take it. What? So nice. So generous. It's so cute. I love it. I'm like very excited. I am set for project bags for the rest of eternity, and yet I will keep buying them. Also a really sweet gift. There's another attendee, I believe her name was Lori or Lauren. She had this little frog, and she and I were talking about something, and afterwards she came over and was like, I want you to have this. It's a little frog, and she said, I keep it next to my stitchy spot, and when I'm feeling frustrated about frogging, I can squeeze him. And I was like, but I don't want to squeeze him. He's so cute. I love him. Look at his little froggy face. I mean, yes, good for squeezing. Yes, good for putting pins in. But also, like, he's so cute. Look how cute he is. I'm, like, so excited. And she also brought me, she got 2 of these in the Notions exchange. And she was like, it screams you. And I was like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. She's right. It does scream me. I love it. I had seen this previously and thought about buying it and was like, no, like, I don't need it. But now I have it. Ha 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 ha. So just like cute little sweet, so many cute little sweet things. And of course, okay, so biggest shout outs to, so I already talked about Catherine, Maggie and Amy, like the OGs. They are just the sweetest, most generous people. I feel like really honored to call them my friends. I had such a good time hanging out with them over the weekend. I had such a good time eating McAllister's with Amy, which apparently is a thing. I had such a good time. One night we were like, oh, we'll just walk ourselves to our room and chat. And we ended up like standing in front of her room for like an hour and a half just talking. And eventually we were like, why don't we just like move into the room? And we like sat down and we're just talking and talking and talking. And finally we were like, oh, we should probably go to bed. It's like 1:30 a.m. Whoopsies. And that's like what happens at retreats, you know? But it was just really great to get to spend time with them. I also had the real privilege of getting to spend time with Mindy Daigle. So Mindy is a huge Mira enthusiast. She is, if you have seen Mindy on Facebook, helping to run the Mirabilia groups on Facebook, that's that Mindy. Mindy is an absolute force of nature. She was incredibly enthusiastic, incredibly helpful at the retreat, so generous. Mindy also has a really wonderful husband. Shout out to Larry. You guys are the real deal. Mindy was just like incredibly helpful and also just like a joy to spend time with, and talk to. Again, like these are people who know a lot about Mirabilia, who have been stitching for years, like just talking to them about the different designs, the experience of stitching them, like all of that was really amazing. And Mindy also, I shared a little bit that Tiger Lily was really special to me and that I wanted to stitch her, but I didn't have the pattern and I wasn't sure like if I would ever get it or whatever. And Mindy actually gifted me her stitched Tiger Lily. First of all, I am at a loss for words. I don't know what to say about how incredible it is that a stitcher gifted me their stitched piece. Like, it's truly so generous, and she is just beautiful. And the other thing about her and about Tiger Lily is that, I don't know if I've mentioned this before in Flosstube, but both of my parents passed away in 2012. So I lost both of my parents when I was in my mid-20s, and my favorite flower is lilies, and my dad actually really loved tiger lilies and would plant them in our yard every year. And so part of why I really wanted to stitch her is because it makes me think about my parents and my dad, and it feels really special. And, it just really moves me that she was willing to gift a piece of her stitching to me that has so much meaning. And, again, as a stitcher, I know how much time and energy this takes. I know how incredibly precious this is, and I am so excited. I don't even know how I'm I don't even know how I want to frame it. It's just so beautiful. You know, there's a framer named Jill Rensel who does like the painted mats, and if you've seen like the Miras in the mirror groups on Facebook, and you've seen like the very elaborate mats with like painted motifs on them, those are Jill Rensel frames. And you know, I'm like, maybe like this, honestly, I'm like, maybe I should get one of those like really fancy frames for this, because really it's just so meaningful to have this. And I cannot wait to get it framed and put on my wall. I'm just, thank you, Mindy. Thank you so much. And also, like, look, she is just so beautiful. Like, look at those oranges. And like oh, she's just gorgeous. She's just gorgeous. Yeah, I'm so happy to have her. Really means a lot. So that's all of the, oh, and the freebie table. That's so my last bits of haul are what I got off the freebie table and what I bought while I was there. So I got some good stuff. I was pretty selective about what I pulled off the freebie table, but I got some good stuff. So let me grab it. Oh, okay. So I got this, so one of these pieces, I am going to show the pattern just because I believe it's a free pattern. I'll flash it real quick. It's called the Victorian Boot. I just thought it was really cute. It looks like that. So I pulled that off the table. I'm not sure if maybe it's not free. Hopefully I didn't just, show off this pattern to everybody's business, but I believe this is what it will look like when it's stitched. That little boot with the rose in it, which I thought was just really pretty. So I pulled that off not that I need more patterns to stitch. Again, I just counted the number of Mirabilias I have. I don't need more to stitch, thanks, but you know. I think this is actually a piece of Amy fabric. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it because it's absolutely wild greens. But I'm going to do something. I just thought it was so cool. I was like, I got to take it. I don't know. Ghostbusters pattern. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but I'm a sucker for bright colors. I'm a sucker for a cool pattern. Had to take it. I found this, which is a dragon in a cookie jar. I just thought it was so cute. The little dragon butt coming out of the cookie jar. I like it. I don't know. I mean, again, maybe I'll never stitch it. I'm going to hold on to it for a while, though. I think it's so cute. Someone put this project bag on the table. Hello, Summer. Cute. Love it. I realized, I think it's actually Forbidden Fiber Co. Because there is a Forbidden Fiber Co. pattern in it. So there's a pattern in it that's called Pool Party. And it says the only BS, let's see. It says, the only BS I need is bikini and sandals. And I do think there are some, yeah, it looks like there are a lot of one-of-a-kind, like, variegated colors and stuff. But I'm going to try and match some of the pinks and / maybe I'll have to do my own conversion. But I just thought it was really cute. So I decided to take it. And I like the little Hello Summer bag. That was really the motivator for me. And then the big score for me was, there's a pattern that I've actually been eyeing for a while that I had not yet pulled the trigger on purchasing, but had wanted, and it came up on the freebie table and I snatched it right up. It is Jan Hicks Creates Palace of the Winds, a study of variegated threads. So this is like a sampler sort of style with the different motifs, and it's meant to be stitched in variegated thread to showcase how you can use the different properties of variegated threads. There's also a video that talks about like the different styles of variegated threads, how to stitch with them, all of that Jan Hicks filmed. So I've actually, like I said, I've been eyeing this pattern. I was really excited to see it on the freebie table. I snatched it right up. This was a big score for me, so I'm like really excited for this. And I cannot wait to stitch it. It's gonna go on the list with the millions of other things I want to stitch. Alrighty, so now we are on to purchased haul. So I showed a few project bags. I did have some project bags that I picked up from Melissa of Sheba Designs. They were all project bags in the Nightshade line from Tula Pink. I don't know if they're still available on Sheba Designs. You should go look at her Etsy. She has everything that's available posted there. But so I ended up the vendor at the retreat was Grace Notes Fabric. As many of you know, I went to the Grace Notes Fabric retreat in August. So I am well stocked on fabric. But of course, I could not resist buying more because of course. So Grace Notes actually dyed an exclusive color way for this retreat. And she called it Nora, of course, after Nora Corbett. So this is Nora on linen. This is a 40 count linen, which I don't know what the hell I was thinking buying 40 count. I guess I was thinking about mini Miras and petite pixies because I don't really stitch on 40 count, but I guess I will be. But this is like a beautiful, you can sort of see, it's a little blown out by the ring light, but you can see it's like a beautiful, almost like seafoam, tealy green color. It's a bit brighter and a bit bluer than it's showing up. I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that is how it dyed on linen. And then I had pre-purchased the Lugana in the same colorway. And it actually came out, it looks pretty different, which I think is sort of interesting. So I don't know that you can see it on camera, but it came out like, it's lighter, it's reading it's grayer in person. Yeah, it has like more of a gray tone to it as opposed to like a blue-green, like seafoam kind of color. But it's really pretty. I think it would be gorgeous, like I said, for pixies or maybe some of the Nora mermaids. Let's see. Yeah, so that's really, let's see if I hold it close. Yeah, that actually is a pretty good idea of the color. You can see that sort of like grayish tone to it, which is interesting because you really don't get that at all on the linen. So then in terms of other fabric, I did manage to restrain myself. I picked up butterfly tea, which is like a very pale, like grayish lavender. I love it because it feels like a colorful neutral to me. This is 16 count Aida. I split a fat half with someone. They got the other half. I love this color. I already own another piece in this color, but I think, like I said, it's a really pretty like neutral-ish, even though it's not technically a neutral because it's the purple, it feels like a neutral to me. I think it would be great. I actually was thinking of maybe putting the retreat pattern on this, on the butterfly tee, so we'll see. So there's that. I bought a piece of black licorice, which is like a mottled dark gray. I was initially considering putting Fairy Moon on this and decided against, but I think it'll be great for something, for a Halloween pattern maybe, or another Mira that I want to put on a dark color. I don't know, but I liked this piece particularly. So I bought it. This is a 32 count linen. I will say the Grace Notes fabrics definitely do shrink when they're dyed. So if you're getting a 32 count linen, know that it will be actually like, it will feel a little bit smaller when you're stitching on it. It's not bad. It's not like Picture This Plus, which gets really tight in my opinion, but it does, to me, the Grace Notes fabrics do shrink a bit. And do feel a little bit smaller when you stitch on them. Cause I mean, like I said, they are hand dyed and they do wash them. So that they're like color fast and everything. Well, I should not say that because I don't know for sure that they're color fast, but they wash them so that they're not like bleeding and all of that. So yeah, so I got licorice, and then they actually had a piece. So I knew that this color existed, but I had not actually seen a piece. They had a piece of Hannah, which is bright yellow. I am a sucker for yellow. I love yellow, and Hannah is like a beautiful bright yellow. So I grabbed a fat quarter of that in 28 count. Again, no idea what I'm gonna stitch on it. I just love the color, had to have it. Yeah, so this is actually, so also just to give you an idea, this is Lugana. So this is how bright this color dye is on Lugana. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, don't know what I'm going to stitch on it. There has to be a Nora that would look amazing on this. Like, I'm determined to find one, and I'm actually wondering, so Siren Song Mermaid is like the similar colors to Ophelia's Pearl. It's like oranges and like purples and fuchsias and like mulberry colors. And like, is it crazy to put a mermaid on yellow? I feel like it would look amazing on this. I don't know. I'm going to think about that. But Siren Song Mermaid might be great on this. And then I did buy some patterns, of course. I mean, I bought a majillion patterns afterwards as well. But I did buy some patterns. I did win as a giveaway. I won Spring Queen, which I was so excited. This was one of my unicorns. This and Touching the Autumn Sky are like the two that I really, really wanted to try and get. I was super excited when I got this one. She's beautiful. I am a spring baby. My birthday's in May. Again, I love the yellow dress. Like, I love the flowers. I realize that she's huge and she's a lot of skin, and I don't know that I thought about that before I wanted her to stitch, but someday, baby. Someday. And then I purchased, so I restrained myself, and I only purchased 4 patterns while I was there. And they were all things that I saw either stitched or saw other people stitching on, or like saw the drawing for and was obsessed with and was like, okay, now I have to have these. So the first one is Lovebirds, which is a newer Nora Corbett pattern. And this is in, I'm trying to remember what they called the series, Borum Decorum. So there's like these birds, and then there's a few like floral images. There's like some floral like banners and stuff. And I was not super into them, right? I saw them, I was like, man, I don't know. But then Mindy had her birds stitched on a beautiful, colorful piece of fabric. I'll have to look for it in the brag table. And it was beautiful. And the birds looked gorgeous. And the color, like, even just these roses, like, if I stitch nothing else, those roses are awesome. I almost want to take, I've, like, talked about doing, like, a back patch for a jacket or a hoodie. I, like, almost want to take one of these roses and do it as, like, a giant back patch on, like, do it on like 11 count and put it on a jacket or something. Like, how cool would that be? Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I bought this. I really love that. Then I bought, I saw a sketch, so I got Blossom. So that's her. She's also a newer, let's see, she's MD 180. She's MD 180, so she's pretty new. That's Blossom. And I'll put a photo up here of the image of her in Nora's sketchbook. So in Nora's sketchbook, as you can see, she did some really cool like collaging on her, and just again, seeing the colors, seeing the original sketch, like really made me want to stitch her. And again, like seeing the photo does not do these patterns justice. Seeing people stitching on them, seeing, you know, the original artwork, like really brings them to life. And then the other 2 that I got, I had debated getting, and I had thought about, and I had maybe wanted, and then I was like, no, but then I saw people stitching them, and they look so cute and so cool, and they are Miss Queen Bee and Miss Honeybee, and they are the 2 bee-themed Nora Corbett patterns. Now, as you all know, I am stitching Queen Bee, which is the bee-themed Mirabilia pattern, and so originally I was like, well, I'm already stitching those, and I want to stitch, but they're just so cute. And like, again, seeing folks stitching these and seeing these all stitched up, like on the brag table and stuff, they just look so good. Yeah, I just really love them. I love the colors, like I'm into it. So I got them. And now I have them in case I want to stitch. I do want to stitch them. But now I have them to stitch. Again, I have to decide what fabric to put them on, but I saw several people working on them at the retreat, and I just, seeing them stitched, like, they're just cool. And I was like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So that is all of my haul from the actual retreat. Now I have one more thing to show you guys, and that is, like I said, Fiber Arts Amy has started her own fabric dyeing studio. And she very generously showed me some samples while I was at the retreat, and so I ordered some fabrics from her. And sorry for the crinkles. And I went like a little overboard and bought a lot of fabric from her. So I'm just going to select like a few pieces to show you, because I'm embarrassed by how much I purchased, because as I said, like, I just went to the Grace Notes, like, I have plenty of fabric. Fabric is my big weakness. I think it's because I love color, and, like, you know, fabric is beautiful and colorful and so cool and often one of a kind. So, like, if you see a piece that you like, you have to have it. And anyway, so I'm just going to show a couple of, not a couple, I'm going to show a few pieces of Amy's fabric, because they're truly gorgeous. Some of them are one of a kind that I purchased, but she does dye new stock all the time, and if you go on her website, she has like a whole series of really amazing colors. So this actually is a color from her line. It's called Moss. And it's showing up a little bit lighter. The ring light's like blowing it out a little bit. Let's see if I move back here, I think it's better. And the cool thing about this actually, which you can tell when I sit back here, is that this fabric is actually dyed on, a darker base. So I think the base underneath this is actually like raw or dirty linen, as opposed to like the white base that most stuff is dyed on. And so you get this very cool, like deep sort of like earthy effect. I'm actually thinking, so they announced the new artists. They announced the new guest artists for the Queen City Stitch Retreat. Next year's guest artists are Autumn Lane Stitchery. So exciting! Which we're really excited for. I'm like super pumped about that. And wouldn't this be so good for one of the Autumn Lane Halloween patterns? Yes, so good. So I'm actually thinking I might put an Autumn Lane Halloween, like maybe the Collectors or Hard Old Hag or one of those on here. It would be kind of cool. Yeah. So that's one. So, and I don't know too many other people who are dyeing on this darker base. So I was excited to see this piece. I'm not normally like a green person, but this was a very interesting green to me. So I was like really excited about that. Then I also bought, you know me, can't resist a pink, a beautiful vibrant pink and purple. This is Raspberry Sorbet. This is 32 count linen. Pinks and purples, baby. Oh yeah. It's just so bright. Like, I don't know what I'm going to put on this. Again, everything I buy, I'm like, oh, I could put a mirror on this. Totally. I could put a Nora on this. Totally. I do think there are mirrors and Noras that I could put on this that would look really pretty. I don't know what. I also sort of love this as like a backdrop for a sampler in white or black. I feel like there could be like a cool, I don't know, but I'm a sucker for pinks and purples. Can't. So pretty. I love that. And that I believe is also in her regular line. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I'm pulling from my little bag of tricks down here. Again, I'm very picky about greens. This color is called Morning Dew. This is on Lugana, and this is like greens and blues together. And I just love, again, so vibrant. I love how vibrant this color is. Like the ring light really does wash it out. It's almost has like a neon, you can sort of see it a little bit, but it almost has like a neon quality to it, that like light green. And then those like pops of blue. It's just beautiful, 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 beautiful. I'm very excited about all of this. Do I have plans for it? No. Did I need it? Yes. obviously. Of course I needed it. And then let me see if I can pull a couple of, oh, this is Lurking in the Woods. This I thought was like a really interesting, not neutral, but neutral. This is like brown and blue. I'm almost feeling like that so I already have fabric for my animals in A Year in the Woods, but like some of the fall and winter animals from A Year in the Woods would look amazing on this. Like the bat maybe would look really good. I also just feel like this could be cool for some blue flower patterns. I don't know. Again, not a neutral, but like neutral vibes, which I love. I have found that I often make the mistake of buying like very bright fabric and very bright floss. And I'm like, okay, well, you can't put, you know, neon fabric and neon floss and variegated this and splotchy that. Like, something has to be a little calmer. Otherwise, it just like gets lost. And so this is sort of a compromise. This is like a more neutrally compromisey color for me. And then I do have, like I said, a couple of one-of-a-kind. So this was a one-of-a-kind. This is a fat half of opalescent linen. And this I was actually thinking, okay, so hear me out. It might be too crazy, but I was actually thinking of maybe this for Lilith of Labrador. The Mirror Mermaid that's like blues and purpley colors. Like, I almost feel like it looks like water splashing against the rocks, right? Like, it might be too crazy. I'm going to do a floss toss. I'm going to see, but like, I don't know. I think it could be so cool. And it is opalescent. This is the other side as well. So here's the whole thing. Yeah, I love it. And even there, so this is, like I said, this is a one-of-a-kind, and you can see there's even some spots with like some little splotches of reds and raspberries in there. There's like some purpley color over here. I just like, ooh, I love it. I love like the variety and depth of color. It's just like, it's so fun. So that's one of my one-of-a-kinds. And like I said, I bought this specifically with Lilith of Labrador in mind. We'll see. It might be too crazy, but I'm hopeful. Because she actually has like her tail, and there's a lot of like very sort of like blended colors in there. So I'm sort of hoping that it could work. We'll see. I got to do a floss toss for that. And then let's see, another one-of-a-kind. Where is it? Here's another one-of-a-kind. Honestly, it's hilarious because this looks very much like the fabric that I'm doing Eliana on, which tells you that I have a type, right? It's like sort of the bolder, less muted. The bolder, non-opalescent version of the fabric that I'm doing Eliana on. But I couldn't resist. Like, it's so pretty. This could be so pretty for like a mermaid. Also maybe Lilith of Labrador. Apparently, I'm going to be stitching Lilith of Labrador 17,000 times on all these different fabrics. Who knew? But yeah, just beautiful. I love it. I'm into it. That's a 28 linen as well. And then one more just to show that everything Amy does is not all crazy. Although, wait a minute. I lied, not one more. So this is another one-of-a-kind. Do I need more purple fabric? No. Do I want more purple fabric? Yes. Okay. Another one-of-a-kind. Again, it's very similar colors. Those blues, those greens, those teals, that purple. Yes. I swear, I don't even want to like stitch anything on this stuff. I just want to look at it. It's just pretty. It's just pretty. And then just to show that not everything Amy does is crazy. This is a color that's in her permanent line called Lilac Festival. Now, this is, again, a purple because this is me we're talking about here. Beautiful purple. I think the ring light's blowing it out a bit. Let me bring it closer and see if you can see. So here in this little corner, actually. It's a great, it sort of shows. So hopefully this will help. Oh God, no. That did not help at all. Okay. Nope, did not help at all. Okay. Unfortunately, the ring light really blows this out, so it's very hard to see. But what I'm trying to show is that even in this one purple fabric, you have like this purple, which you can sort of see a little bit is like a warmer tone. And then you have this purple, which is like a bit of a cooler tone. And so the mix of those tones makes for like some really nice modeling, even on a much paler color fabric. Yeah, so you can sort of see there's that deeper tone. So yeah, even on a paler color fabric and in person, it shows up. I mean, it's very clearly purple. I'm like trying to like create a shadow so you could see, but yeah. So sorry about the ring light blowing that color out, but it's a beautiful purple. It's like a much more muted color. The funny thing is, likelihood is I'm going to use this first because it's like the most, it's sort of the most versatile of all of these, but you know me, I love the like the ones that are a million colors and all of that. So yeah, so that's everything. And that is a wrap on my Queen City retreat recap. I had an absolutely amazing time. I cannot wait for next year. I am hopefully going to be running the raffle again because I really enjoyed doing that this year. Like I said, next year's guest artist is Autumn Lane Stitchery, which I'm also really excited for. I have not stitched any of their stuff yet, but I have a stack of their patterns. So I'm going to start one soon. So that way maybe I can bring it finished. Who knows? Maybe I could bring it finished to the retreat. More likely I will bring it in progress to the retreat, but that's okay. Yeah, it was awesome. If you have not watched the videos of the brag tables, of the other people's recaps, like do it. The stitching is incredible. The whole thing was just amazing. Thank you everyone who was there. Thank you everyone who donated stuff and sent stuff and cheered us on from afar. Thank you everyone who loves Nora Corbett and loves Mirabilia and keeps on supporting her. I hope she keeps designing for another 30 years. I hope she keeps making beautiful art. And thank you all. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for all of you who hung in there to the end. I'm back. I'm going to try and film part 2 of Flosstube number 4 in the next couple of days with the other stuff I've been stitching on, some other haul, like plans for the next few months, all that good stuff, the more like regular Flosstube stuff. Yeah. And I will see you guys soon. I will see you soon for part 2. More to come. More to come. More amazingness to come. No, but more to come. Bye, everyone.